questions and answers, if I can. No guarantee that I know everything that you're going to ask, but I will try. Oh my God. I just now seen it. Thanks, Linda Williams. Appreciate it. Linda Williams says, I'm one of your Patreon members. I know you are. I regularly watch your videos on YouTube. YouTube name is Linda1028. I try to watch the Wednesday night live shows, but many times I cannot make it while they are live and watch them later. That's fine. You know, a lot of people work. I know that. And I know that Wednesday night sometimes at 7 to 9, that's hump day. It was not my first choice of a day to do that, but now that it is, it is. So watch the replay. That's fine. But you did miss a great show that night. It was kind of a rush show. I rushed it through. A lot of games, a lot of things. And yeah, it is what it is. Now let me say this. Craig Morris is running a little bit behind on sending the gift boxes out. He sent me an email a couple of days ago, said they're ready to go. He just has to get them to the post station or post office. So they'll be there. They're on their way. I can't help you much more than that. It says, what I would like to do, they've talked about, I wasn't able to show 2020 where the donations went for charity. Yes, the check's already made out. I've got an appointment to go down to the Wish Foundation. It's in down by Orlando at 1 o'clock Friday. I'm going to try to get some YouTube video of actually handing the money over to them. I don't know what else to ask them or anything. You know me, I pretty much wing it as we go. So whatever comes in my head, I'm liable just to ask them, and we'll see how that goes. It says, I'd like to donate some dollars that you can use for WNL gifts, coffee, gas, or whatever. However, please use some towards Sue and Deb's next lunch. I really enjoy their videos as well and hope Sue is doing much better. She's doing fine. She's driving a car now by herself, and she goes to the grocery store now. She still kind of walks with a limp. Her leg's still a little stiff. She's going to therapy 3 days a week to get that muscle, you know, stretched out. It's like a rubber band. If any of you's ever had a torn muscle, you know what I'm talking about. That when you tear a muscle and you have to go through surgery to reattach that torn muscle, well, the muscle shrinks like a rubber band. And so when they reattach it, they stretch it out and then reattach it. And there thus comes the pain. Because now that when you try to, in her case, bend her leg, it stretches it even more and it hurts. So, but they have to get that muscle stretched out there so she can resume more of a normal life. But she is walking. It is a little bit with a limp, but she doesn't need any kind of walker or a cane or anything like that. And so she's doing fine. And yes, Deb's lunch, I'll make sure that they're taken care of. I don't know if they're going to be going out it did not go out last Thursday. Last Thursday's video that you saw, which I forget what it was, that was probably from 2 or 3 weeks before. Last Thursday, they did not go out. Deb wasn't feeling well. And this Thursday, actually it's Wednesday. Wednesdays is when they go out. Thursday is when their edited shows come out, when I get them done. Tomorrow's Wednesday, the day that this is going to come out. I don't know if they're going out today or not. I really can't answer that question. I'm going to assume they are, but I don't know that they are. Thanks, Linda. I will take care of that. I think I also seen on here where you were asking for a friend's request on Facebook. When I go to Facebook, if I see it there, I'll accept it. But I got to be honest with you. I have 2 Facebook pages. One is my personal page. And then there's another one, Skip Smith, The Villages, I think is what it's called. And I put a few things on there. I very seldom ever update that page. Be quite honest with you, I very seldom ever even go to that page. And it says right on that page somewhere that I'm using the Facebook page to increase my subscriber base here on YouTube. And so when people go there and they try to friend request me, or they'll leave a message on that Facebook page, I may or may not get it because I just don't go there. Facebook and me, it's okay, I suppose, but here lately, I just haven't been in love with it. you're really better off to either email me a request or something personally. Use Patreon. I check my Patreon page regularly all the time, and I will respond back to my Patreon members personally. And sometimes I even will call you personally to find out exactly what it is you want or what you need or whatever. Last week, we just had another group session with my Patreon members where we have a live chat only for those Patreon members that are invited. I can't get everybody on in one live chat, so I have to divide it into segments. You know, maybe 8 people on this one, 8 people on the next one, 8 people on the next one, because I just can't get that many on in one session. So we just had one last week, and I think it was about 8 or 9 of us on there. And we had a talk. It lasted a lot longer than I thought. Generally speaking, I figure about an hour. I think Linda told me that last week, that one lasted 4 hours of all of us talking and chatting and carrying on. So we're going to try to trim that back down to an hour or so, because that's a bit long, 4 hours. But I wasn't paying no attention to the time. I just have fun doing it. So you should join us sometime on a Patreon live chat. It's Patreon only. It's private. It never gets on YouTube or anything. It's just me and Sue talking to you about whatever it is you want to talk about. Okay, Edsel, here's the question here. Brayland, hope I got that right. So Skip, I enjoy your videos. We are considering the villages, but nothing annoys me more than a yapping dog. With the screen rooms often so close together, I am concerned about neighbors letting Fido out in the screen room to bark at me while I try to relax in mine. Are there any areas in the villages that do not allow dogs? Not as far as I know. No, dogs are a big thing here. It can be a big issue, I suppose, but it is a big thing. It almost feels like to me that everybody seems to think they have to have a dog. I don't know why, but they do. They just feel like they gotta have a dog. I'm a dog lover too. I've had dogs my whole life. We don't have one now, and we're not going to have one for a while because life is getting shorter by the day. I want to do some traveling. Sue's got to get her medical stuff done first before we can do any kind of traveling. And the last thing I want to do is have to worry about a dog in a babysitter and motel rooms, and I don't want to worry about all that. I just want to go when I want to go and stay when I want to stay. And so we're not getting any kind of pet whatsoever. I've got a theory about why people have to have dogs, but I'll keep that secret. But it's just my theory. The lanais, screened-in lanais, I don't think you'll have a problem with any dogs barking and yipping in a screened-in lanai, because most people with dogs don't turn them loose in a lanai because it's just cheap screen. It's a rubbery kind of plastic screen, and a dog will tear it. You know, if they put their paws up on it and jump on it, they'll tear it. So they don't put their dogs out on a lanai, I don't think. Not that I've ever seen. I've never seen a cat in a lanai ever. But where you want to have a concern, I think, my perspective would be in courtyard villas or verandas or any designer home down in the Finney area that has a fenced-in backyard. Those are the homes where people have a tendency to turn their pet loose in the backyard, because with the fenced-in area back in the back, they feel secure that the animal's not going to go nowhere. And elderly people, being elderly, they have a memory lapse a lot. I do. Everybody does. They won't admit it, but they do. And if it's really, really hot out, and in the summertime, it's always really, really hot out, and if they don't have the water, a shaded area, or something like that for that animal, it's going to start barking because it wants in. It wants out of that hot sun. Or there's something wrong out there. Dogs generally don't bark just to be barking. They generally have a reason why they bark. It's like babies cry for a reason, generally. They don't cry just to hear themselves cry. Well, same thing with a dog. That would be my concern, because your neighbors could have a couple of them, and they turn them loose out there, and they run around, and they bark at everything. The geckos, whatever's out there. And yeah, I can see where that could be a concern, but let me just say, I've been here now full time for 6 years. And I know a lot of people, and I get around a lot, and I hear people talk, and now here lately I haven't been because of the COVID and everything else, but I've heard a lot of people talk at a lot of the squares and different restaurants and things. I have never ever heard anybody with these 2 ears ever complain about neighbors' dogs yapping all the time. I just haven't heard it. Now, I can't speak for the historic area. That's a whole different issue up there. So you'd have to, if you're interested in buying something up there, you'd have to talk to them people mostly, because I just don't know that much about the historical area and all the little personal things that happen in that area. I don't know. I wouldn't think it'd be any different than any other area, but you never know. But around here, nah. The only time we really ever see a dog or hear a dog is either early in the morning when people are out walking their dogs, or right before sunset or right at sunset when it cools down in the summer and they walk their dogs. And then you might hear the dogs out there, you know, yip a little bit, not much, just a little bit, and they move on. But in most cases, no, I don't know of anybody that's had that problem. It's something to think about, I'm sure, but I don't know of anybody. Just be concerned of the homes that I told you about. Those are the ones I think you would have the issue. If you had an issue anywhere, it would be there. Those people are buying them houses with the fenced-in backyards mainly because they have pets and they want to turn them loose back there. But that's about it, really. I don't see that being much problem. Do I know any other place that don't allow dogs? No, I don't. Florida is main industry in the whole state of Florida is tourism and retirement places. That's where this state makes their money mostly. You take any retirement community, they're going to have dogs. And depending on how the houses are set up or depending on anything like that, you could have a neighbor that has a dog that maybe they go to town, let's say, and maybe they lock their dog in the garage all day. And then the dog starts barking in the garage. You know, that could happen anywhere, really. I mean, not just in Florida. That could happen in your state, anywhere. I've lived in a lot of places in my lifetime, and I have never had that kind of a problem. The only problem we had once, and it really wasn't a problem at all, really. We had a neighbor that lived on a farm about a mile away, give or take. And of course, being a farm, he had a couple of dogs. They were never chained up. I mean, they had to run the farm. Well, then they started building homes around this farm. Well, the dogs, they don't know private property from one property to another. And so, and it might have been my fault too, but they used to come to my house almost every day. And they'd be on our back. We had a great big wood deck wrapped around the house. And it was nothing to walk outside and one of them be laying out there. And I'd give them a dog biscuit or something, you know. And that probably was my fault. Gave them a dog biscuit, so they kept coming back wanting more. But they were good old dogs. They didn't bother nobody. They didn't bother me anyway. But I'm sure there was probably some neighbors out there that didn't appreciate these strange dogs, you know, running through their yard or whatever they were doing. I don't know. So I don't think you have a big problem with that. But it is something to think about. But I don't think you're going to find any retirement community in the state of Florida that's going to tell you we don't allow dogs. Could be, maybe. If any of you out there know of any retirement community that does not allow pets inside that retirement community, put it in the comment below. Let this man know. He wants to know. And hopefully you'll get the answer that you're looking for. But for here and for me right now, I'm just going to say 1 week from today is the next WNL show. We have a special guest. We're going to have games. We're going to have more prizes. So if you want to get in on the fun, 7 o'clock Eastern, a week from today. See you there. See you on the other side.